Here we go back to the phones to Janet in Shiloh, Illinois. Great to have you. Hi.
Hi, Russ. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I wanted to alert your attention to yesterday. The Washington Post reported that the Orlando shooter was a Hillary supporter. And so we're faced with the reality that a Hillary supporter targeted a gay nightclub, went in, shot it up, killing 49 gays and injuring 53 more while praising Allah. I want to suggest that had it been a Trump, the Washington Post had reported that a Trump supporter had gone in, targeted a gay nightclub, gone in, shot up, and killed 49 gays, injuring 53 more while praising God. Trump would have had to drop out of the race last night.
Now, wait, you know, you're making a couple of really good points here, Janet. In your analogy, that doesn't happen. And this is very important to remember. There is homophobia everywhere, but only in militant Islam and in nations run by Sharia law are there organized efforts to kill them, to punish them. What you described just doesn't happen. There are Christians who are anti-gay. There are Jewish people that are anti-gay. But there is no worldwide network that runs around committing mass murder. There are not, you can't name for me a single Christian preacher. You cannot name for me a single Jewish rabbi who makes sermons or otherwise inspires people to go on worldwide missions to kill gays, women, infidels, or what have you. But you can't say that about Islam. Islam does. Islam has imams that are encouraging that very thing. A man, a legend, a way of life at 800 decibels, meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day. In fact, there's a piece here in the Daily Beast, going back to Janet, our last caller. It's by James Kirchick. Why are prominent liberals closeting the motivations of the radical Islamic murderer who targeted gays? The moral majority never had a terrorist wing. The jihadis have dozens of them. So why are so many prominent Western liberals so loath to acknowledge and discuss this obvious difference? And it's a good point. You know, her analogy was, if it had been discovered that Omar Mateen was a Trump supporter, that would have been the end of Trump. Trump would still be interrogated. That's all anybody would be asking Trump about. Why do you think Omar Mateen, who shot and killed 50 gays, supports you? What has he heard you say that made him think that you were his candidate? This guy, a friend of his, says he was going to vote for Hillary. He's a registered Democrat. And, of course, we throw that out. Not only that, in Barack Obama's world, here you have a guy, a registered Democrat, a militant Islamic terrorist who shoots up a gay nightclub, and it becomes the fault of the Republican Party and the NRA. And then you take a camera and you go to the streets of Brooklyn and you do man-on-the-street interviews with your average, ordinary Brooklynite, and you ask them, who do you think is largely responsible? And they tell you the Republicans, because their refusal to help ban guns. It's maddening. But she's exactly right. If it had been discovered that this guy, had toyed with joining the Tea Party, which is the first thing they look at, the media, or if this guy was a big Trump supporter, or if he loved talk radio, they would love, folks, that'd be Orgasm City if they could find out one of these guys was a big talk radio listener. They've been looking for that for 27 years. They've been hoping and praying. And every time we find out these guys that do this kind of thing are either registered Democrats or that somehow linked to them, they vote for them or what have you, but they're not conservative Republicans. And in this piece by James Kirchick at the Daily Beast, here's a pull quote. Of course there are Christian and Jewish anti-gay bigots, but there's no worldwide network of Christians and Jews spurred on by clerics and suborned by states, indoctrinating their flock in eliminating homophobia or eliminationist homophobia, recruiting people to murder gays. The same, sadly, cannot be said about Islam, the official religion of dozens of countries that legally prescribe homosexuality, some by penalty of death. In the wake of the Orlando shooting, many liberals are pointing to the near-simultaneous case of James Wesley Howell, a white man apprehended by the cops before he could shoot up the L.A. Gay Pride celebration, as evidence that homophobia isn't especially endemic with Islamic cultures. But there were no large-scale Christian ideological movements and religious leaders, never mind a would-be revolutionary state, motivating and backing the guy. He was a genuine lone wolf. Because they are incapable of distinguishing murderous Islamist homophobia from high school bullying, many gay liberals have lashed out at Republican politicians who've offered condolences to the Orlando victims, accusing them of having forfeited any right to express solidarity by dint of their past opposition to same-sex marriage. And he's right, that's exactly how it works. If you oppose same-sex marriage, you cannot in any way be in solidarity with gays even after they're shot and killed. It's exclusionary, as far as the left and gay activists are concerned. In fact, some have gone so far as to blame American Christian conservatives rather than Islamist fanatics for the actions of Omar Mateen. The New York Times has led the pack campaigning to replace Islam with Christianity as the most threatening area of religious homophobia. A remarkable editorial about the massacre that didn't once mention the words Islam or Muslim saw fit to condemn Republican politicians who see prejudice as something to exploit, not extinguish. On live TV, there was CNN anchor Anderson Cooper. You know, we didn't talk about this, but this is outrageous, too. Anderson Cooper grilling Pam Bondi, the Florida Attorney General, over her past legal defense of a state constitutional amendment prohibiting same-sex marriage. He grilled her and accused her of being in solidarity with the people that shot up gays because she upheld the Florida Constitution prohibiting gay marriage. That was portrayed as gay bias, homophobia, standing up for her state's constitution. And this is how it all works. And this is how these people end up forcing Nimrod, small-minded, low-information people into believing that the Republican Party and conservatives are the people that really harbor this hate when they don't.